Hey guys, Jen McKinney with Jen McKinney Fine Art here. I'm ready to share with you guys some springtime flowers. So I hope that you will pick up a pen or a pencil and get started with me. Okay, we're going to be drawing some daffodils today. With spring, it just seems right. So we'll start by drawing a sequence of 4 petals. Just a simple curved line like this. So I drew one slightly curved line, came to a point with another slightly curved line down, and do not close it off as you would an oval, just leave it open there in the center at one end. We do it again. We'll repeat that 2 more times. Need to connect these. There we go. All right, so next, very lightly, we will go ahead and repeat that pattern again, but in the negative spaces. So I want to start my next one right here. In between petals 1 and 2, we'll start another petal. And repeating that again. So in between the next 2 petals, 2 and 3. Again. And lastly here. All right, so now what we're gonna wanna do is take a standard eraser and erase the lines that you can see converging on top of the petals. So on top of just one set of petals, I can see lines here from the first set, and since our petals here are not invisible, they're not transparent, you shouldn't be able to see those lines. So we're going to go ahead and erase those. So I have 1 petal, 2 petals, 3 petals. This will be my 4th petal for that second layer of petals. All right, now I'm just gonna go back over that layer that I just did, just to make it nice and clear. All right, so my basic petals are down. Now we need to start on the center. We'll just make a simple curved line. We'll make another simple curved line. So we're almost making a crescent moon here, if you can see that. Now we will close it off here. Just another curved line opposite there. Okay, but if we were to look at a daffodil, the edges of the petals here in the center are not actually this straight and flat. They're actually curvy and curled. So we want to make some little squiggly marks. We don't want them to be perfect, just beautiful little frilly edges. Okay. Something else that we usually find on daffodils are these nice pleated looking lines. So very imperfect. Again, what we find in nature is not usually perfect. So just making a few lines on that crescent moon shape, cutting across there to create texture. All right, next I'm going to create a little line here, a little line here in the center. This is just to give my eye somewhere to go, to know that this is actually convex, that it goes in here, or concave. So now we're gonna make a few little seeds. They're in the center. Now we can draw a small line here, 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 and here. Again here, here, and here. Now I don't quite like the way that this looks so far for one reason. The petals are not touching the center circle. So I need to make sure that if there are any areas where they're not touching, I do want those petals to come down. So I just fixed that here. The next thing that we're going to do is make sure that we have a stem. A stem doesn't usually come straight up. Usually if we see something like this in nature, we might see it from a different angle. So we'll pretend that our stem is coming down this way to the right. We'll pull it all the way down here. It's okay. It doesn't need to be a perfect straight line. Again, it's not perfect in nature either. And now we're gonna start a leaf. They have these long, beautiful leaves that come out. They're a little bit curved on the edge, so we'll see a little bit of that natural curve. I'm wiggling my pencil a little bit to get that in there. See how my line doesn't look like a straight, flat line? It looks a little bit curved. That actually makes it look a little bit more natural. Now I'll draw a line to be the main vein in the leaf, just going up. All right, so that's one daffodil with one leaf. We want to make it a little bit more interesting. So here we go. Let's draw another, let's see, let's start over here. We'll draw another daffodil the same way we already did. So I'm drawing another series of the petals. Same thing that we just did a few minutes ago. So 4 petals. Now we will do another 4 petals, a little bit smaller this time, just for visual interest. All right, so we have our other 4 petals. Now we go in with our handy eraser and erase the extra lines. Then I'm going to trace back over my petals again just to make sure that they're clean and visible, that I can see them. All right, so now I can tell I'm going to need to bring this in a little bit. Okay, now for this one, I think that on this first daffodil, I had the crescent moon shape facing down and going a little bit to the right, the bottom right. This time I want it to be facing, I think, this way. So I'm gonna make it this way. So it's curved the opposite direction. It's curved where it would be opening to the left. And I'm gonna elongate it just a little bit. So a couple little lines coming out. And then let's close that off again. Just like we did before. Let's make our edges curly just like we did before. Some lines in there. Curly edges again. They're not curly enough for me. There we go. All right. I think that I want to make this even another crescent here to make it even more of a little buttercup look to it. Now I'm making those 3 seeds inside. All right. Now we'll make the lines across the petals just to give it some kind of variety. Make it look like there's a little bit of a fold there in the center. Now let's bring our stem down again. This time I think it might be nice to have the stem coming all the way up here at the top. It's probably right behind here is where it's coming. So let's go. Let's just pretend it's coming down this way. I'm behind this other petal. So we'll just gently bring our pencil up off the paper and act like we're drawing here, but then don't really draw on your other flower. Come down here. It'll go behind that leaf. We won't even see where it's going. And we'll make another line for the other side of that stem. There we go. It's nice. And then I think that we need another leaf for visual interest. So let's go ahead and do that also. So this one will go up. And I think it's going to come up here behind this flower. This is up to you. You can set your leaves wherever you want to. Making a line down the center of the leaf just for interest there. And I think that we probably need one more flower coming up here to just balance this out. So let's go ahead and put a flower right up over here. Okay, so this is our stem. And if we can imagine that our daffodil is lifting its face up toward the sun, then we would maybe see something like this. Maybe instead of straight on, as we've seen these other flowers, this one we're seeing a little bit from the side. These are the back petals. So what I just did, I just drew one petal, leaving the middle open at the top. I made another shape that would be like a half petal, but from the side. So it's almost like drawing a almond shape here, if you know what an almond looks like. Did that there also. And then back here, you can imagine those petals are gonna seem a little bit smaller because they're a little bit further away. They're behind on the other side of the flower from our perspective, so we can't see the whole thing. All right, so we're bringing these in. Now what we're missing is this buttercup shape, which I love. So let's go ahead and make our buttercup is going to be more like a little cup here. So what I've done is drawn a small, slightly curved line, and then bring up the edges as if you're making a U, and then kick them out as if it were maybe a glass. Now, let's imagine that we have a small crescent moon again. Very slender crescent moon. And we close it off here. Now, what are we missing? How about the frilly edges? Let's make those edges nice and frilly again. Frilly, curly, squiggly lines. Those curved lines are so beautiful in nature. I love it. Okay, now let's bring our lines up here that are gonna add a little bit more interest. And since there are lines on this side, there are probably lines on that side too. So let's draw some lines in here. People can tell that there's something going on there. And so far on these, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. And on this one, we only have 5. We need to add a couple more clues that there's more petals going on here. So let's go ahead and add a little round here. So that's just a little curved line going down. Another one here. We also, I think we'll add another line here. So another almond shape. Another almond shape here. And where's my eraser? Here we go. Let's go into these petals that we just drew, the almond shapes that you just drew, and erase a few of those lines that are trying to shine through from underneath. That way we can see these are extra petals coming in here. All right. So I'm just going over those almond shapes again, going over my lines again that I already made, making them nice and clean and clear. Make those little lines going down my petals so that you can tell there's a little bit of curvature there. There's a little bit more interest. All right. And then I still want my seeds in there, so making these tiny little circles that just indicate there's something going on. Something for the bees to come and get. All right, and one last leaf, I think. will be coming behind. So I'm making a curved line, stop where the stem is, start up again at the other side of the stem, finish the curved line, and come down like this. Now we'll draw a little curl out, and then just bring that back in a curvy sort of way. Now I think that this, if I go back to where I started my leaf here, I think if I went under this petal, there would be a little bit more going on right there. So I'm just making a tiny line right here. And now I'm going to create the texture of the stem going through the vein that goes through the leaf. All right, and I think just to finish it off, we'll just add a few blades of grass to indicate this is actually growing outside. You don't have to include the blades of grass if you choose not to. That's totally fine. But I think that it always is more beautiful when we see something in its natural habitat. So let's see, we'll just add a few blades of grass. I like doing these blades of grass can be really free. I like to do like small curved lines. Maybe they get bigger, maybe they reach out. Almost like a pattern. See how I'm coming back in here every time and then reaching out. This is very much a impressionist way of drawing, I think. It reminds me of Van Gogh, all of his lines that he did. Lines and shapes and colors. So those are our daffodils, and the next step will be to trace this in ink, erase our pencil drawing, and start on watercolor. So if you want to see more and you want to move on to that next phase, tune in tomorrow or Monday, and hopefully I'll have another video up for you. Thanks a lot. Bye guys.